Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Confetti Conversations. This is our fourth ever episode, and now we're getting into the good bits, the actual wedding planning.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be talking about venues.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Roll the intro.
Hello, and welcome to Confetti Conversations,
The podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning, and married life. Okay, this is a good bit now.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually talking about some wedding planning.
Yep.
Actual tips and tricks, things that we did, what we think would be helpful for you guys picking a venue. So yeah, I've got my book because I've got notes. It's formal this time.
Yep.
Not that formal.
No.
It's just going to be the same. I've just got some bits written down so that I don't lose track of what we want to say, basically.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
Yep.
Picking a venue. How did it come about for you picking a venue?
So, like we said last week or the week before, when we knew we wanted a church wedding.
Yeah.
That was our focal point initially.
Right, that's where you started.
Yeah. So we started with our local church.
Yeah.
Well, mine and your local church,
Yeah.
different to Ellis's. And then we looked around the area.
Yeah.
What's available, and just looked at everything and all the different types and styles of venues, the size of venues as well. Some were really small, some were really big.
Yeah.
Some were, what's the word, and you just have it for yourself?
Exclusive
hire. Yeah. Some would have different rooms going on, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we literally looked at everything within that area.
Yeah.
And then decided bit of a like yes and no, like tick sheet of yes, that provides what we want, no, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of like dove into looking at venues really quickly,
Yeah.
but didn't really consider what we actually wanted our wedding to feel like.
Yeah.
So once we'd done that, we actually drew it back a little bit and then went, what do we actually want? How many people do we want?
Yeah.
What vibe do we want for the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
And then we could figure it out from there.
Right.
It's kind of, we dove in, went a bit hard, then realised, no, we need to figure out what we actually want first.
Yeah. So you kind of just sort of went, oh, we're engaged, let's look at venues.
Yeah.
And no other planning had been done really before you'd got to the venue bit.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Actually, there's quite a bit that goes in before you look at a venue.
Yeah.
Even though you need a venue first.
Yeah.
There's a few things to consider.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think we were really similar actually.
Yeah.
In that we were like 2 weeks after, because I'd got a 2-week period between 2 different jobs where I could go viewing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was going to be like weeks on end. And I was like, no, I want to get everything done in this 2 weeks. So maybe we rushed a little bit, but I'd researched, I'd gone on Google and just Googled barn venues near me.
Yeah.
And I just had then made a list of all the barn venues near me, and we narrowed it down to a few that took our fancy and that had availability for us to look round.
Yeah.
And sort of gave us the feel, and sort of when you looked at the capacity, it was like, yeah, that's a good capacity for us. I think we did the guest list probably halfway through looking.
Yeah.
So we'd looked at a few and then we started to sort of build a guest list.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where we then realised what would and wouldn't work. But I think we viewed maybe 6.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, and I filmed all of them because I wanted to be able to look back on them and be like, yeah, that venue is amazing, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Or no. And some of them I walked in and was like, yeah, this venue is perfect. I love it. But then we had things like accommodation to consider because we got family travelling.
That was a big thing, actually.
Yeah, and there was one venue which I loved, and I actually would have foregone the church wedding for that venue, but there was no accommodation anywhere, and that just was not an option.
Yeah.
So there was a lot to consider when we first started, but we kind of just, like you, and like most people, I think, threw ourselves into it.
Yeah, just excited.
Yeah. And then we kind of came back retrospectively, similar to you.
Yeah.
I think because I've been planning my wedding since I was 15, I think I already knew the sort of vibe that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that I was really happy with. Like my vibe, I wanted it to be ethereal, I wanted it to be countryside.
Right, you're going to have to explain ethereal, because I think like not many people are going to know what ethereal is.
So ethereal essentially is like woodland fairy vibes. Like don't get me wrong, I didn't want little mini fairies everywhere. I just wanted it to feel really country, really soft, whimsical. Like I wanted it to be like soft around the edges is how I would describe it.
I think you achieved that.
Yeah. And I just wanted a venue that fit that. I didn't want anything too industrial that felt like, harsh lines. I wanted it to be in the countryside. There was loads of factors to it. And I think when viewing venues, there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
Like we saw so many different types of venues. Like we went to a hotel. We went to exclusive hire barns. We went to a marquee. Like loads of different venues, and all of them gave us.
Did you look at a teepee?
Yes, we did look at a teepee, but the teepee wasn't set up.
Yeah,
it was off area. Yeah, it was off season, so we went and looked at the stuff that they provide and the area that the teepee would be in, and we could look at photos. And we knew somebody had got married there, so we'd seen great photos of the venue.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd looked at loads of different options, and you get a feel for it when you walk in.
Yeah, you do. And that's partly why we didn't look at as many.
Because you found it.
Yeah. So we went, again, barn style, wanted accommodation, because again, family travelling.
Yeah.
We, again, wanted the country feel.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think we went in as deep as the whole kind of vibe you have with the ethereal.
No.
But we know we want it to be fun. That's our biggest thing. We want there to be a feeling of having fun.
Yeah.
And then we went to the one, and it was lovely, and we would have got married there. Yeah. Absolutely. It was really, really nice. If I got invited to a wedding there, I'd be really happy to go, because it was lovely. And I did get a bit emotional going around there because of a link with our popper.
Yeah.
Because I was like, but then it'd be like pops here. But it just wasn't right. Again, the accommodation side. But it was gorgeous. And then we went to the next one. It just happened to be the next one that we had booked. And Ellis, before we'd even looked in the church, because it has a church on site, he was like, yeah, we're getting married here. Yeah. It was just a feeling. He knew straight away that we were getting married there. Yeah. Obviously, we'd been there as a guest before, so I knew what it felt like to have a wedding there. Yeah. And being at a wedding there. And that was a really fun wedding.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So, yeah, we knew that already, which was great.
Yeah. I think everybody goes into venue shopping, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
With things that are your non-negotiables.
Yes.
Things that you want to make, it has to be this. So for me, I wanted one room.
Yeah.
I didn't want separate rooms where some people are in the bar, some people are in the room where we ate food, some people are on the dance floor. That for me, I just didn't want. I wanted everybody in one room, but I wanted zones. So I wanted like a party zone. I wanted an area with sofas so that you could sit down and chill. You got the food, you've got an outside bit. Like I wanted it to be zoned so that everybody's got somewhere to go, but we're all in one room. That was really, really crucial for me.
Yeah.
And good accommodation, again, was really crucial to me. Apart from that, so long as it had a countryside feel, I was not as picky as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? I don't think it's necessarily not being as picky. I think the venues are really good standards.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw anything that was rubbish.
No.
And all the people we met were lovely.
Yeah.
I didn't find anyone pushy.
No, me neither.
And I was really honest with people as well. So I'd booked to look at other places, but we chose the one we have chosen. And when I called them to say, look, we're going to cancel because we've already chosen, everyone's like, oh, no worries. Like, no one said, like, are you sure you don't want to come and have a look anyway?
Yeah. I think the wedding industry, or what I have found, especially when viewing venues, is everybody is just so there to make your day the best day ever.
Yeah.
Nobody is out there for any other reason than to make your day the best day ever. And I found that with all of the venues that we looked at.
Yeah.
Every person that showed us round, even if we'd walked in and they could, sometimes you can see on someone's face when something's not right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, they're not interested. But it doesn't matter. Because they still give you the exact same experience as everybody else.
Yeah, the service in weddings is great.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And the venues are just like amazing. There's some incredible venues out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And we were lucky to see a fraction of them.
Yeah.
But we kept it very close to our church. We wanted to be within half an hour of our church.
Yeah.
So our circle was quite small. So we didn't see a lot.
Yeah.
But what we did see, the quality was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, we went further afield because we were happy to have it in-house, kind of all in one place wedding. But the fact we're having a church is amazing. And some of them were just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could imagine myself getting married. Even now, I could pick it up and move it to some of those. I love my venue. I'm never going to go away from my venue.
No.
But yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of friends that have got engaged recently and looking at what they've chosen.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of us that have got engaged in a really similar amount of time, and they're all so different.
Oh, yeah.
But so perfect for each of us individually.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And I think, like you said before, how Ellis got the feel when he walked into the venue. Neither me nor Sam necessarily got the feel.
No.
Like, that venue that we chose was our first venue. That was the first one that we went to.
Was it?
Yeah. That was like the very beginning of January, just after we'd got engaged. And it was the first venue we went to. It was like a frosty day, which was nothing like what our wedding day was. And it was very rainy, my wedding day. And we, like, I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, this is the one. I was very much, I want to see everything. Yeah. So I think, whereas Sam would have happily just settled on that one because it was the first one, I think. But then there were parts of it that really sold Sam. Like, there was a football pitch and there was a trampoline. And that really sold Sam. And because he really loved the venue, that then gave me the feel. Yeah, and then when we went back for our initial consultation, I was like, yeah, this is it. I see my family here. I see us getting married here. Yeah. Like, I saw it the second time, but the first time, I loved it. And I would have been happy to get married there. Yeah. I didn't get the feels. No. And I think everybody has a different experience, don't they? Yeah. Some certain people, like with you and Ellis, Ellis walked in and went, yes, this is the one. Yeah. And I think everybody has a different feeling, which is why everyone gets married in different venues. Yeah.
I do wonder sometimes, I think people do it a little bit too practically. They're like, so this is going to have this many guests. It's going to have this, it's going to have this, it's close to home or whatever. Yeah. Rather than having a feeling for it sometimes. Yeah. I think that's maybe their initial thing. Yeah. And then after a while, they're like, no, this is what I actually want.
Yeah, I would agree. And there is a certain amount of practicality that you need to begin with. Yes. So you do need to have a certain amount of things that you think, this, I need X amount of guests. So I don't want to be in, for example, where I got married was a marquee, and had I have had a smaller wedding, we would have looked lost in that marquee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas actually the size wedding we had, it filled it perfectly, but it wasn't cramped.
Crowded, no, it wasn't.
And I think it just sort of flowed really nicely. And the same sort of for your wedding, the size wedding you're in. I think, to be fair, your venue, you could get away with a bit more. Like, you could have less people in that room because of the type of room it is. Yeah. Whereas like my sister-in-law, Sam's sister, when she got married, they were in a venue that could move the back wall. So for a smaller wedding, they move the wall in, and for a bigger wedding, they move it out, which I think is so clever.
So you still get that closeness with your guests. Yeah. I think it's really clever. I thought it was really cool.
It was amazing. So there's so many different types of venue now. A lot of things at the minute. Barns are very popular, aren't they?
Everyone's getting married in a barn. Whether it's a bad thing.
But... No, because they're beautiful. And they give you character.
Yes. They give you character without having to decorate. Yeah. So yours was very much a blank canvas, but that's what you wanted.
I did, yeah.
You wanted to be able to decorate it and put your stamp on the venue. Yeah. And you did, and it looked incredible. Mine has got a lot of character to it. If I didn't decorate it much and I put a few little signs up here and there, it will look great.
Oh yeah.
If I throw a load of flowers at it, throw a load of decoration, it's going to look great. But yeah, that's the other thing. And I think, yeah, it's the feel that you get is so important.
100%.
But then you have got to scale it back.
Yeah.
You've got to go, right, so I've got a good feeling, but do they have the capacity?
Yeah.
Will I be able to have evening guests?
Yeah.
Can I have the music?
Yeah.
Can I have the caterers I want?
Mm-hmm.
If food is important to you and you're limited on caterers, then that's a big deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, I will come on to this a little bit later, but there are some venues do ask you to use certain suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, before you book your venue, that is something to consider is, if you want a pizza van to do the evening food, is that a possibility?
Yeah.
Because if a pizza van is a non-negotiable, then that venue might not be for you.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, the only thing that we wanted was to be able to decorate ourselves, ideally the day before. But if not, it would have been fine.
I'm glad we could do it the day before.
Yeah, me too. And that was it really. That was sort of, in terms of food, we were happy to go with the options that they gave us because we didn't have a preference.
Yeah, you're not, and neither are we, massive food. We like food, but that's not the focus of our wedding. It's the people.
A good bar, though.
Yes.
That was important.
Yeah.
And as was competitive, wedding venues generally have a more expensive price tag on the drinks.
Yeah.
Because they can. But yeah, a good bar. And
you could bring ale.
Yeah, we bought ale that my dad bought for the venue, which was great. And space for me was important, and that countryside feel. So for me, when choosing my venue, I wanted to be able to have everybody in one room, a good bar, somewhere I could decorate, and a countryside feel. And that for me was what would have sold me. I could have gone
anywhere.
Yeah. So those were my, I guess, non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So what would you have said?
Mine were
accommodation. Accommodation was the biggest for me, actually.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
That was the biggest for me.
Yeah, as was the whole feel, of fun. We want it to be fun. So, good bar.
Yeah.
Coming from netball and rugby backgrounds, we need a bar.
Yeah.
And a good one. The feel of just being, I can't think about how I want to explain it, and I can't explain how it feels when I get there. It's our venue. You go from different locations, you go through the church. It's a journey through the thing, and I love that. And that's really, I think that was really important. That basically, I didn't want people to get bored. I didn't want people to be you go in this room, and then you're going 5 steps to go and have a drink there. 5 steps back because they've changed it around to have the tables changed.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted.
One thing I didn't want to do was have to move tables for the dance floor.
Yes.
That is one thing I didn't want to do.
Yeah, again, same.
But we ended up, I think because we got married on a different site, it didn't matter. I mean, we ended up having drinks in a different room because it was raining. So we did end up moving a couple of places. But I agree, yours is a real journey of you go from here to here to there to here, which is lovely. And
everyone, when they go from each thing, is going to be like, oh wow, this is amazing.
A new part.
Oh wow, this is amazing. Each bit it is that cool.
Yeah.
So that was important. So the feeling, the accommodation, the bar, music, big thing. Being able to have what we wanted music wise.
Exactly, because some have curfews on. They all have a curfew on the sound.
Yeah.
But also some places, again, you can only have a list of this suppliers.
The one thing I learned
about, only.
Yeah. One thing I learned about recently is sound limiters.
Yes.
So some have sound limiters and some are really low.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah. And if music is important to you, then that is definitely a big thing.
Yeah. So that they were our key things, and we've definitely achieved them.
Yeah. And I think obviously the venue is the setting of the wedding. That is the impression that everybody gets. You can add, everyone's there for you, but the venue does make a massive difference.
100%.
And I think finding the right one for you is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So those are a few sort of tips and tricks of what we've thought of and how we got there.
Yeah.
But we did our research before we started.
Yeah.
So there is 2 websites that I would highly recommend. One called Bridebook and one called Hitched.
Love them.
And they both give you, number one, they both have venue search engines. So
that's where I started actually, on Bridebook.
Yeah. So you go into it, you put your location, capacity, style, all sorts of different things in, and they will come up with venue options for you. And they are amazing. Like we'll put a link in the description so you guys can use them.
Yeah.
Because I 100% would recommend.
Absolutely.
And I think we use them to a certain extent.
I still have my little notifications from Bridebook.
Yeah, and we signed up to Bridebook because it's a wedding planning service.
Yeah, it's really good.
Amazing. But I've been doing my research, hence my book. And for those listening, I have a book in my lap. And both Bridebook and Hitched give you tips on how to find your perfect venue. So let's discuss a couple of those tips. We don't have to go through all of them, but to some of the best ones that we think are, the most important, I guess would say. So we've already spoken about this, but check the capacity.
Yeah.
So if you want a venue that you need 100 people for the sit-down dinner, you need to make sure that your venue can accommodate for that.
Absolutely.
Location. For me, location was really important. I needed it to be somewhere that everyone could get to easily and that you could get from the venue from the place we stayed the night before to the church, back to the venue with no problems at all.
Yeah.
So location is super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And same for you.
But also in the flip side, if you want to go and have a location venue, so you're all going away for the wedding, we're not really that far, within like an hour of home.
Yeah.
But if you were going, say from here, we were going down to the South Coast.
Yeah.
You need to make sure there's enough, that location is right for you.
Yeah.
You can't just pick a venue. You need to go and see it.
Yeah.
It'll be different. It'll be different.
And the same with an abroad wedding. Neither of us have got married abroad, so we don't know necessarily how it works. I'm sure at some point we will bring a friend who has got married abroad so we can chat about that. But location is important, and how people get to the location is important.
Yeah.
And that is something you need to think about. For example, for me, our nan is in her 90s, and I would have loved for her to have come to the wedding. She managed to come to the ceremony because it was 2 minutes down the road from her. But my grandma, again, in her 90s, couldn't make it because it was 2.5 hours away for her. So it's, that is something you do have to consider. If you want grandparents to be there, for example, you need to consider how far they can travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how far people would be willing to travel if that's something that
it's a cost.
You.
Weddings are expensive, not just for you. They are actually expensive for the guests as well.
Oh, yeah.
If they've got to put themselves up, if they've got to travel.
Yeah.
So being mindful of giving people options, I think, is really good.
Absolutely. Options is always important.
Yeah.
So next is know your budget.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't do this. I got my budget from the places I went to. So I had a rough idea of how much I wanted to spend on my venue, but I didn't know where that was going to take me until we started looking.
I only knew because of you.
Yeah.
Because I could see how much a venue cost, but some of them will say that includes a welcome drink.
Yeah.
Some of them don't. Yeah. And but you don't really get that breakdown until you go and visit them.
No.
They don't give you all that information necessarily, which is important.
Yeah, and that then meant that some venues, after we'd viewed them, were not possible because they were far too expensive.
Yeah.
A lot do give you packages on the website, but not all of them.
No, they don't.
Pick a season.
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily, I think it's personal. I had a date. I wanted to get married on a certain date. I would have gone 1 week before, 1 week after, but I've wanted to get married on that date ever since me and Sam have been together because it was our anniversary, the first day we got together. So my date was set in stone.
Yeah.
Whereas you...
Yeah, I wanted autumn.
You wanted autumn.
Ellis wanted summer.
Yeah.
He wanted sun.
He wanted your typical
British country
wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunny country wedding.
Yeah.
And I said, that's fine, Elle, but it rained all day in May for Phil's wedding.
Yeah.
So you can't guarantee the sun.
Yeah.
Whereas if we know it's in October, you know it's going to be a bit colder.
Yeah.
You know what to expect, and then you're not disappointed.
Yeah. 100%.
If you want sun, we're going abroad.
Yeah.
And we're not hot people.
No, I couldn't, personally, I couldn't have been in a wedding dress abroad because I get too hot. I was hot anyway and it rained all day.
Sorry, just yawn.
You've been yawning the entire time I've been talking.
Sorry, you're not boring. You're really not boring. It's just a long day at work. I'm just pulling funny faces.
She's just been yawning the whole time, so I'm really sorry.
Right, she can get one out, then I'll be fine.
Here she goes.
Okay,
right. She's back.
Hopefully they're done.
She's back, guys. She's back.
Oh, my eyelashes are stuck to my eyelid now.
Okay. So yeah, picking a season is, an idea of when you want to get married is good. Decide on a theme. Now, I don't think this is necessarily necessary.
Necessarily.
I know. But before you go, because I think that a venue can inform a theme.
And scheme and
the
vibe, like we talked about the vibe.
I think everybody has an idea on colour that they like, and everybody has an idea of the feel that they want. So if I wanted a country wedding and I wanted it to be sage green and peach, and I knew before I went that that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I'd already done that, but I don't think it's a necessity.
No, it's happening again. I always said I wanted the colours I'm having. I don't think I'm going to say them yet.
No,
because my wedding hasn't happened.
Don't.
But this summer, I have been influenced by some of the colours.
You have.
And I have tweaked it to that. They're very mysterious. But I could have quite easily gone, no, we're having this instead, because this looks way better. But it was this summer's colours, and it's going to be different next year.
Well, yeah, the year I got married, I mean, sage green is still really big, but the year I got married, every other person was in a sage green bridesmaid's dress.
Yeah.
And that didn't bother me in the slightest. I was really not bothered by everyone having sage green.
Oh, you can't be bothered because there's only so many colours that look appropriate for a wedding.
Yeah.
And I love these clean black dresses.
Oh yeah.
And the white and the black, and was it gypsophila?
Yeah.
Have I said it right?
Yeah.
Just gypsophila and a black dress and
stunning
satin.
That's just not us.
No, I tried to be that.
Yeah, no, not us.
No.
So next, discuss catering options. So I don't know that this is necessarily needed for everybody. For us, we were happy to go with what the caterers offered.
Yeah.
We had, I think, 5 or 6 recommended caterers.
5?
Yeah, because the venues will have recommended suppliers that they want you to use because they know that they are trustworthy.
Yeah.
So we had...
And are a good representation of their brand, their venue, all of that.
Yeah, and work well within the venue as well.
They know the kitchen.
Yeah. So I think if you have a specific type of food that you want, then yes, discuss your catering options and make sure that you're both happy with them. But we weren't bothered.
No.
And we just were happy to go with what made sense for us.
I was shocked, though, at the options that were available, how very different they were, cost-wise.
Yeah.
To me, as a non-foodie kind of, I wouldn't know bougie food, expensive food from a pub dinner necessarily. Yeah. No, I would. But that I was shocked at the difference per head compared to the one we've gone with.
Yeah.
And if we wanted a really expensive, slap up, posh dinner, I suppose, I would have had to have probably halved my numbers.
Well, this is the thing. That is exactly why we chose the food that we chose, because it was half the price of the other food. And I just was like, no.
I want the people.
Yeah. And Sam also is a fussy eater. So actually it worked well to have him having the food that he wanted. And he wanted...
The food was so good.
It was good. We had a summer barbecue, but it was all brought to the table. So you didn't have to get up and go and queue for anything.
Even the bread to start with was just nice bread.
The lemon posset.
You and that lemon posset.
Honestly, this lemon posset.
You should have given lemon posset to everyone, I think.
No, because Sam wanted the cheesecake.
The posset was better.
I know, but Sam wanted the cheesecake. So anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, discuss what type of food you want, if you want a specific type of food, so that when you go there, you know what they offer, and then you can decide.
Yeah.
And also pricing options. Okay, so this one goes nicely with the catering options one.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of venues, as I've previously mentioned, have recommended suppliers.
Yeah.
And you can only use their suppliers because it's good for their reputation, like we've already said. So you need to confirm if you want a specific band or a specific food company or anything. Some do have restrictions on whether that's something you can have.
Yeah.
So definitely confirm your suppliers.
You are making me second guess myself though, so I'm going to go and check all of this tonight.
It's worth checking.
Most of it's been booked about 6 months.
Yeah, we knew that all of ours were fine because we had our initial consultation quite early on, and he said, "Have you thought? Have you booked this, and this?" And we were like, "Yes." Gave him all the names, and he was like, "Perfect, great, wonderful." So if you're not sure, just ring or email your venue, and they will tell you. They're all really good.
Yeah.
And again, leading on from that, check entertainment options. So entertainment options, again, some places have, like you said, sound limiters. They have curfews. They have some simply aren't big enough to house a band.
Yeah.
Some you could only have a DJ or a smaller band.
Yeah.
So these are all things that you really need to consider.
Absolutely.
And then browse all wedding packages. So you need to make sure that the package you're getting is the best for you. For me, there was only one package. We just picked the one that they had, and fine. But some places, we had different drinks packages options.
Oh my God, we've got loads.
Yeah, we did. But because the drinks for us were a separate company, so the bar was a separate company to the venue. So the drinks were done separately through them. And they, the bar was brilliant. The only thing I wish I'd done is done more welcome drinks. I felt like it was very much one per person, and I wish it was more.
I think.
But we had far too much wine, so.
Yeah, I think with the welcome drinks, people are ready to start then.
Yeah.
They get there and they really want good welcome drinks. And that's one thing I think we've said is really important to us.
If I have one piece of advice for you, I would say go for more.
Yeah.
Because I felt so awkward, and that was one thing about my wedding. We were lucky
though because of the rain, that we had the bar in there.
I know. I don't know how that would have worked had we not.
Well, we wouldn't have been on that grass bit, so we would have had the outside bar. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
But for ours, we don't have that. Yeah. So there has to be enough.
When we went to the wedding at your venue last time, there was plenty of drinks. Yeah. So I think you'll be fine.
We were the table though, weren't we?
No, yeah, we were. But there you go. Think about what you both want. That's really, really important.
It goes on to the vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah. You both need to be, before you go, to be fair, saying that, we both just wanted everybody to be able to be there in one room when we went. And the rest we sort of were happy to sort of figure out. But we did see one venue that was one room, and it was small. Had we been trapped in there, as we were, because it rained all day, it would have been tight.
Yeah.
So that actually was a massive no-go for me.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted one room, that was just too small.
Yeah, I get it.
So knowing what you want is super, super important.
Yeah.
So thinking about the space that you need, like we said before, if you can go with a rough guest list. So I think we went saying there'll be roughly 70 to 80. It ended up being 80 to 90, but we were far
like that.
off.
Yeah, it's going to be 80 to 90. It's going to be 100.
Yeah, but you know that you can fit 100 people in that room. Yeah. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Lighting. Now, I didn't think about this until I did my research, but keep lighting in mind. And that's such
mine's
a
gonna
good
be so cozy.
A lot of venues have brilliant lighting because they know that's something you have to have. So, but the point of this is if you want specific lighting, for example, your venue in the time of year you're getting married would look amazing with loads of fairy lights.
Fairy lights, candles. A lot of venues won't let you have candles.
We couldn't light our candles.
The amount of candles you bought.
But I knew before I went this will be in a decorations podcast, but I knew before we went that I wasn't going to light any of my candles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was hilarious that we were putting the day before out all these candles out.
No, I knew.
And then Ben was like, you can't light them.
No, I knew I couldn't light any of them. No, I knew that.
And the groomsmen just looked at each other like,
I know. And my mother-in-law said, aren't you going to light the candles? I said, no, they're fine. So I knew that, and I was fine with it. Like, that didn't bother me at all. I wanted the look.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah. So that didn't bother me. But what I did do is I had hoops on the ceiling with fairy lights in them. And you couldn't see them.
Because it was midsummer, effectively.
Whereas for your venue, something like that would look amazing.
Yeah, and like your neon sign, couldn't see it till the night.
But I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, but whereas for ours, it's going to get dark at like 5:30, 6, 7.
Yeah.
By the time the evening guests come, you'll see it really nicely.
Yeah.
And the way it's lit, you'll see it nicely.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. But lighting is important, and the feel that lighting provides.
Yeah.
You know, for you would like that cozier feel. So having these like dimmed lights with fairy lights would look amazing. Whereas for me, I wanted it to feel bright and airy and summery, and you know, and the whole marquee wall was see-through, so you could you know, it was super bright in there, which is exactly what I wanted. So consider what the lighting is going to look like.
I like that one.
Listen to recommendations.
Listen to us.
Yeah, sure.
Duh.
But for me, I didn't want to get married in a venue that somebody else had got married in.
As in a friend?
As in a friend, yeah. As in no one. A brand new venue, just for me.
A bit risky. And also someone got married in there like 2 days before you.
Oh, I know. And the day after me. But anyway, I personally, for me, I didn't want to have been to a wedding at that venue. Although I did look at venues where I'd been to weddings.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to if I could help it.
Oh no, that didn't bother me. Actually, I think because I'm not very imaginative or creative,
you could see it.
I could see it because I've been there, and I loved the day there. Yeah. No, that didn't even cross my mind.
Fair. But listening to recommendations on what other people have done,
well, what didn't.
Yeah, that's super important, and that's also important the whole way through.
Yeah,
like the different things that went well is so important.
Absolutely.
We've spoken about this, but a list of must-haves. Definitely, if you have non-negotiables that you desperately want.
One on that, confetti.
Yes,
because if you really want a confetti photo, you need to check your venue will let you have confetti. Because venue technically won't let me have confetti. Church will.
Right.
So I'm going to get the confetti photos, which I really want.
Yeah.
But it's not technically on the venue.
Yeah. See, we could have done both. We did it at the church, but we could have done church and venue.
Yeah.
But it had to be biodegradable.
Yes, same.
And I think most have to.
I think everywhere's like that now.
That old school confetti. That's not an option anymore. Most people use petals. Yeah. Because they're amazing.
But one thing I've learned from other people and listening to other podcasts is you want to have a good confetti that falls well for the photos.
Yes.
So ask your photographer.
Yeah. My confetti, to be fair, it was a gamble, but I made my confetti from Harry Potter books and it was lovely.
But it fell well because it's proper paper.
Yeah.
It worked really well.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So there's a hack for you.
And smoke bombs like you did, not everywhere lets you have them.
Yes. Yeah.
And cold sparks.
Okay.
So like the flamey cold sparks things. Yeah. That's the thing at the moment.
Right.
Didn't know it. It's not really. I'm scared.
No.
But if you really want those, a lot of venues might not let you have them. Fireworks, yeah.
And
the fireworks package is so expensive.
Oh yeah, fireworks are expensive. We didn't do fireworks; it's too expensive. And sparklers. We wanted to do sparklers, but I'm glad we didn't in the end because there wasn't everybody around to do things like that.
It was. It suddenly went dark at your wedding, and that was the point where everyone was so drunk they shouldn't have had fire.
You could definitely do sparklers at yours,
and they're not expensive. I'm just gonna get a bucket of sand and another bucket of sparklers.
Yeah.
Sound. If we don't do them, doesn't matter. Bonfire night 2 months later.
Yeah. Perfect. This is a good one. Keep an open mind.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So you go into it thinking, there is so much that I can do, and walk in thinking about, you might not like everything about a venue, but there is things that you can do to solve the problems that you don't like.
Yeah.
And you might walk into somewhere thinking, I will not like this venue, and it be the one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just don't know. So keep an open mind, because the ones that you least expect might surprise you.
I think keeping an open mind about everything weddings.
Oh, yeah.
Dresses, suits, decoration.
Yeah.
Everything. You've got to be open to suggestions.
Things can change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things can change.
Love it.
Visit more than once. Now, I think this is important if you're unsure. Definitely visit more than once. I only visited my venue once and we chose it. And you did the same.
Yeah.
But I think, well, technically you visited it twice.
Yeah. But it changed a lot.
I think if you aren't sure, definitely visit it more than once.
Yeah.
Because, and if possible, visit it around the date that you want to get married.
Yeah, we went back a few weeks ago and oh my gosh, I was so excited.
We did. When we did our initial consultation, we made sure it was around the date that we were getting married so that we could see. Because when we went initially, it was January and there was, everything was dead, or there was frost
I didn't
everywhere.
see yours until like a couple of months before.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when we went the May before, it was like beautiful, and I think that was just like, this confirmed it was right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely, if you can, go and view it a couple of times. But I viewed it multiple times for ideas for decorations, because I needed to visualize it to be able to put everything in place, and I took photos of where I wanted everything.
Yeah, that's well done.
And that sort of helps you to decide. But again, that's a decorations thing.
Yeah.
And it's saying here, wait for the feeling.
Oh, well, we both said about the feeling so much, haven't we?
Yeah. So those are Bride Book and Hitched top tips.
I think they're really good.
Yeah. And those are all the different sort of ones. Perfectly. Like I said, they have the venue searches. So if you are looking for a venue, check those searches out. I will link them down below. Or a Google search. A Google search is a good option.
Yeah, and like the maps with all the pictures on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And something you said to me the other day, actually, was tagged photos on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. Tag photos, because you can see real weddings there, but also real guests' weddings.
Yes. Yeah.
People who've just got their normal Instagram photos, you can see what it's really like, and that really helped.
That's such a good tip. Talking about tips, do you have some top tips for us?
Yes, I have thought of 3. They're my 3 Ps.
Go on.
Price.
Yeah.
Personality.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Okay.
Price, obviously, you need to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Do not make your wedding unaffordable, because that is just stupid.
No.
Personality, can you put your own personality on it, or has it got personality enough that you don't need to?
Yeah.
Perspective, are you going to enjoy it? Are you going to enjoy looking at all your guests in that venue, getting married to your person in that venue, but also your guests are going to have a nice time looking at you getting married there?
Love it.
So they're my 3.
That is great top tips.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate those.
Should be a bride.
You should. For me, I guess my top tips would be go with your gut. Pick something that works for the pair of you. Make sure you and your partner love it, because that's all that matters. Don't listen to outside influences. If somebody's saying to you, are you sure that's your venue? And you two know that you love it, that's your venue.
You sound like Mum.
They will love it on your day, regardless, because it's your day.
Absolutely.
So don't listen to outside influences, because it just will upset you. And I guess just enjoy the process.
Yeah, I love that.
Enjoy the process of looking at the venues, because trust me, it's so much fun.
We got a really good tip about enjoying the process from our friends who got married in the summer. And actually, it was the groom who said it to Ellis.
Yeah.
And he said, enjoy the planning process. If you get ratty with each other, or you feel like you're going to have an argument about it, walk away.
Yeah.
Just stop for that day.
Yeah.
You don't need to continue the conversation. You don't need to continue arranging a flower. You don't need to do any of that.
Yeah.
Walk away, put it away, come back to it another day, and enjoy the whole thing. And that was the best advice he could have given.
Could not agree more. And I agree with that 100%. I found wedding planning pure joy. I didn't find any of it difficult. I didn't find any of it a chore. I had no stress. There was not a moment of me feeling stressed whilst I was planning my wedding. And that would be my biggest tip. Enjoy the process.
Absolutely.
It's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be because you love somebody so much that you want to spend the rest of your life with them.
Yep.
And that is my top tip.
Love it.
I think we've covered everything with venues.
I think that was a good one.
I think that has really sort of given you a lot. I hope you like the way that we structured it this time. I hope that it was it made sense. If you like the way that we've structured this podcast, please let us know. If you like the fact that it's more informative, that we have a bit of research behind it, let us know if that's something that you like, if it's helpful to you, because we'll continue to do them this way, because we think that this is sort of the best way to get the information out there whilst having our own real-time catch up. So, please let us know. We also, talking about getting you guys involved, we are going to be starting something very exciting called Confetti Confessions.
Can't wait.
So, Confetti Confessions is going to be a little segment in the podcast where you guys share with us your wedding stories. Now, this can be an embarrassing story, something you regret, something that went well, or just anything to do with your wedding, just a little story that we'll read out. It can be completely anonymous. You can say your name. We don't mind. We just want to hear from you guys and what went well or badly for your wedding.
Yeah.
Or an embarrassing thing that happened at your wedding.
Love it.
So we may not do it every week, but we will start adding some Confetti Confessions into our podcast.
Love it.
So I think that's the end of venues. So for now, I'm Philippa.
I'm Hayley.
This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time. Bye.